left open. That's deep, and it's good. It's a big-time shot, big-time drive.
Welcome to Film Sesh. My name is Corey Tulaba. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Albert Garbage Time Ghim. Albert, how we doing today?
Dude, living the dream. I mean, getting to talk to these guys and talking about film and talking about basketball, it doesn't really get much better than this. And we've got a great guest today.
We do have a great guest. We have Miles Kelly from Georgia Tech, 6'6" wing. Miles, thank you for joining us today and chopping it up with us.
No, thank you for having me. A pleasure to be here.
So, before we dive into your film, just for anybody who maybe hasn't seen you before, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Definitely a versatile shooter. A guy that can catch a shooter really well, that can do it off the bounce also, and definitely a person that can initiate the offense as well. Playing the pick and roll a little bit and make the right reads, and definitely willing to step it up on the defensive end as well.
The first thing that we're going to see, and you touched on it, like is your ability to shoot, and coming in at the next level as a young player, playing off the ball and being able to contribute. You might be playing next to like Luka and Kyrie, or
Right.
Trae Young in Atlanta, right? And being able to come in and knock down shots off the ball is a really valuable skill for a young player. So when you're shooting it well, like what are the kind of things that you're doing mechanically where you feel like it's good when it comes off your fingers?
Right, as you can see in the film, like I'm down, I'm ready, my hands are ready. Like I can already see how the play is shaping up because my man came over to tag Kyle, our point guard, and I just knew it was gonna be a wide open shot. So I just made sure I was ready, my hands were ready, and just ready to knock down the shot.
No, the shot prep obviously looks fantastic in this one. And Miles, I know recently maybe it's been about a year, I don't know how long, but the last time we talked, right, we talked a lot about you and your versatility as a shooter, right? And
Right.
I think right now, straight up, like we're looking at this catch and shoot jumper. You mentioned it. The mechanics look great. The shot prep looks great. Can you talk to us a little bit about your development, right? What it took for you to get to this point? When did you start working on this? How's that progression been to getting you to this point?
Right. It definitely has been a long progression. I mean, before when I first came into college, that's something that I really focused on was my shot prep and being ready to catch the ball. And that's something that I've really got embedded over time, my years playing college, of just being ready to shoot the shots. Because I mean, if you're standing straight up, it's harder to get back down into your shot and then release it. So and then at the end of that, trying to make the shot. So as long as you stay ready, keep your hands up, and be ready to knock down the shot, I think it's been good for me.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, staying ready, being ready to catch. You talk about the versatility and the different ways that you could shoot. This is nothing fancy right here, but I think it's a good read lifting up from the corner. So, just what do you see here that makes you want to kind of, lift from that corner?
Right, like I talked about, the man that was guarding me decided to tag the big. I mean, the big diving, and I knew as soon as he tagged the big, if I lifted up a little bit to kind of give him an angle, to give him a little space to pass me the ball, I knew that he was going to be too late. And like we talked about, the shot prep is huge, and just being able to get into my shot and knock that down.
Yeah, and you got the follow through, pointing right at the net, holding it, gooseneck. I mean,
Right.
splash. Yeah, that's easy money. And, now, we get into the fun stuff because, yeah, you can, do a couple of steps on a lift and catch and shoot, but being able to shoot off movement and, kind of the gravity that provides to an offense, is that's the next level stuff as a shooter. So take me through this possession and what you're doing to get yourself open.
Right. First off, I seen that we were down 3. We don't need a 3, but if I can get a good look, it was definitely like a shot that we needed. And it's something that this play we run a lot, and kind of trying to use me as a decoy to trying to free my man up a little bit. So I end up setting a good screen, which allowed me to free myself up. And I knew since I'm a right hander, as soon as I get left, right, I knew like I had a good look at the basket, and he went under the screen. And so I knew it was going up.
Yeah, and I honestly, the little screen like you use as a decoy, I think off the ball you've been really good as a screener, and
Right.
like you look at guys like Clay and Steph, like in Golden State, they're always like screening off the ball to cause that kind of chaos, and then all of a
Right.
sudden, next thing you know, you're flying off the stagger, the whatever, and you're getting yourself
Right.
open, right?
That was a big emphasis of my development this year was screening and off the ball, just guard to guard screens, getting switches, exploiting mismatches. So that was a big part of developing into the player I am now.
You know, Miles, just looking at this shot, I mean, to take this shot, you know, obviously, as we mentioned, coming off the screen, but that's from pretty deep, right? Talk to us a little bit about the relationship you had with the coaching staff and what they were telling you. And were they just like, hey, man, if you're open, you're feeling good, take that shot? What was that like throughout the season?
Right, of course. I mean, they knew I was capable of making these type of shots, and the main thing that they seen what made them comfortable is just the work. I mean, those are shots that I work on like day in day out, after practice, before practice, at night. Like, so they've seen me put up thousands of reps of these same shots. So it's just a matter of fact that in the game, it's the defender. You just got to stay comfortable and knock it down.
And that shooting gravity that you have, right? Like now that's going to lead to guys having a hard close on you, right? And when
Right.
that happens, now you can attack the hoop and you get into a
Right.
little floater here. So how do you kind of find the balance between like shooting maybe, you know, a contested shot that you can make and then like taking advantage and leveraging that gravity to get into the paint?
To me, I feel like it's all gauging how the guy's closing out to you. If you see him in a deep closeout, you kind of know he's going to be coming running at you, and he's going to probably try to jump to disrupt your shot, especially if you're a shooter like I am. So right here, I kicked it out, and I respaced, and he was in like a deep closeout to my man, and I knew as soon as I came back to three, he knew I was going to try to shoot it. So I just hit him with like a high pump fake and was able to get to my floater.
Yeah, that pump fake, you know, how devastating is that for a shooter, you know, as a weapon in your arsenal?
For sure, it's definitely that was also huge in my development, using my pump fakes, hezzies, and all of that. Because I am a shooter, I can lift people, lift their hips up, and get them to jump all over the place. So just using my pump fakes, using my hezzies has been huge for me.
You know, Miles, last time we talked, something that you mentioned, right? Like you really wanted to work on the versatility point again, right? You were like, I want to do more off the dribble. I want to do more off movement. And something I remember we had a conversation where I was like, you know, what's one part of your game that you feels like underrated? And you were like, I'm pretty athletic, was what you said, you
Right.
know? And I think this clip and this play right here kind of speaks to all those points, right? We have the pump fake, right? We have the off the dribble, and then you're getting down into the lane and you put up this nice floater here. If you could speak to some of that development throughout the season and how, you know, you've been able to not just put in the work in the gym, but also in reps like this in the game.
Right. I mean, it's like I said, it's honestly just reps. I mean, you kind of speaking to the athletic part. I mean, I'm kind of sneaky athletic. Don't really get to show it a lot during like dunks and highlight dunks, stuff like that. But as far as like agility, movement, and lateral movement, stuff like that, you can really see it, and it really pops. Like in terms like of this, if this pump fake, I was able to get a pump fake and get my first step going right to the basket. It wasn't no outside steps or any of that. So just trying to speak of that athletic nature.
Now, as a shooter, like obviously we see all the ways you could do it. We see the form; it looks good. You talked about the freedom, you know, that you had from the work that you put in. As a guy who's a multi-year guy, and you have that freedom to take these shots, what is it like, kind of finding that balance between like, you know, maybe it's a shot where we can get something better, or you know, maybe it's like it's early offense. We like playing in transition, and I can get something early. So how do you strike that balance?
Right. I think it's all just thinking the game, knowing the game, kind of like time and score. Like I said earlier, just looking at the score and seeing what we need, knowing that we need to get a good shot. If we're up 10, we don't have to rush anything. So right here, I kind of rushed it, which is kind of ill-advised shot, but it's something that we had to live with. I had to get back on defense, but of course we can see that watching the film. But leave my hands, it felt good. Of course, I think every shot that leaves my hand feels good, but just kind of gauging time and score and just seeing what shot your team needs at that moment.
Yeah, maybe even, you know, if you get that back, maybe even throw one of those pump fakes in there.
Right.
You know, get into the
Exactly.
lane, cause a scramble, right?
Exactly.
Because look, I mean, you're at the logo here, shooting with range, and they're still closing to you, right? So just playing off that and using those strengths. Another area of your game as a shooter, right? That you're gonna, you know, be able to utilize is playing out of DHOs. So when you know you see a DHO and you see a guy go under it, like your eyes lighten up or what?
For sure, those are always moments I live for. I mean, like anytime, like I set him up a little bit, going back the other way. As soon as my big gave me the DHO and he went under, like I knew it was going up. Like he wasn't ready for what was about to come.
Yeah, and I mean that's a layup, right? That's too much time for a shooter. And then now, you know, guys go under. So now what happens when guys are chasing over?
Right, you can get into the lane. I can get into my finishes, kind of show the athletic ability.
That
what
left
I can
hand.
do down in the paint. Kind of here set, like we said, off ball screen, kind of get him jumbled up a little bit, and the big was in a deep drop, so I knew if I just gave him a jab to the right and was able to get to my left hand, I knew I was going to be able to finish it.
Yeah, and you know what? Like the way that you move sometimes, especially that little like cross jab there, it reminds me a little bit of like Jaden Ivey getting downhill. Who are there any guys in the league that you watch that you try to take stuff from their game and put it into your game?
Right. Lately, I've been watching a lot of Tyler Hero. I mean,
Mm.
just how he's a versatile shooter. He can get off the dribble, get to his float game a lot. Just stuff like that. Just trying to use the way he gauges when to shoot shots, when to use his dribbles, when to get to his floater, like stuff like that.
Now, again, speaking to your versatility, we're going to see here you coming off movement, you create this space. You missed the shot. It's wide open. If you got this one back, is there anything else you would do here?
Yeah, I would probably dribble in and play 2-man game with my big,
Yeah.
because my big the big either has to step up to me and it's easy pocket pass, or if he doesn't step up, that's when I can get to my floater a little bit. It's still a good shot,
It's a good
but
shot.
in terms of being the best shot, definitely could have played 2-man game with my big and probably could have got something a little easier, especially since we definitely needed a bucket at this point of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and like when you're down like that, like you're kind of like, oh, let me start it out second half. Let me get
Right.
one to go, get 3 on the board right away, get some momentum. But you mentioned earlier that like you can pass a little bit too. So
Right.
like you said, like if you get a little deeper, if he's going to step up to you because you can hit the midi, and then you might have, like you said, the pocket pass. Maybe it's a lob, and I think that's
Right.
going to be a really big part of your game, going forward, because you can pass, and we're going to see that, on this clip here. Because you are such a threat as a shooter, they got to send 2 to the ball, and there's that pocket pass.
That's a nice one.
So take me through this, and when you're going to be able to make that little pass.
Yeah. Once again, I was just trying to get some movement. Chase Hunter was kind of playing me tight the whole game, so I knew just trying to get him some movement, get him off balance a little bit. And then as soon as I came off the screen, Clemson was kind of like in a high hedge a little bit, not a hard head, but in a high hedge. So I knew I was telling my big buy if he just rolled, and he's pretty good in like the mid area, making the floaters and making the touch shots. So I knew if he just rolled and nobody picked him up, he would ever have his floater, and that's what I seen.
I want to go into some of the off the bounce game that you have, because you talked about like you can get it done off the bounce too. And here, I think playing in pick and roll, where it's also going to open up the passing opportunities and and allow you to make plays as a passer. This is smooth going down to your right, starting the game off. Playing again in semi transition. You guys like to you like to push the pace a little bit. So take me through this and what you're seeing here.
Right, just trying to kind of get a feel for the game. We like to run drags and transitions, so I knew I wanted to get to like the outer thirds of the court so he could have enough space for if the big steps up, I can hit the pocket pass again. So the big didn't end up stepping up, and Chase Hunter kind of went with the big, and I knew that was an easy shot for me to knock down.
Again here, great rebound. Using that length, that size, and then I like this. A little behind the back, the Hezzy Jimbo pull up. Talk to me.
Right, for sure. I think it's just the feel for the game. I got the rebound. I'm feeling good, dribbling up the court. And if you look closely at number 1 on my team, he's like, go at him, go at him. So that's also gave me the confidence, and I knew as soon as I like used the hezzy, it kind of put him to sleep a little bit, and I could just rise up. And I think before this, I knocked a couple down, so I was already feeling good.
But again, like there's so many ways that you can get loose off the bounce, and I think this is another good way because again, you got all the little like quick pitch handoff stuff that you can do. Take me through this.
Right, I think we were in this section, we were running wide, so our point guard went back door, and I knew hitting my big to kind of get my man up off me a little bit, gave him the fake the other way, and come back and get the ball, and then the rescreen because it was an open side over there. So I just felt like that was the best angle to do, and we knew North Carolina was going to be in the drop most of the game. So if I was able to come out and knock down that mid range, it would be a tough game for them.
Yeah, and I think the rescreen and it shows the patient. It shows like patience and maturity. right? Like, and not like attacking something just because you can, like making sure that you're turning like maybe a good possession into a great one. So I love using the rescreen, and obviously North Carolina's guards are a little smaller, so if they get hit, like there's only so many times they can get hit before you're gonna get loose, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And Miles, if you can, NBA, if you want to be a high level scorer, you got to have all three levels, right? And of course, like you mentioned, you've been working on the outside shot, the athleticism can get all the way down, finish at the rim, whatever. But this mid range jumper is a really important one too. Like a guy that you named before, Tyler Hero, he has that in his bag, right? To hit that 18-footer or whatever. How much has that, been a part of your arsenal, and how much have you been working on that as well?
I mean, that's something that I always work on in the gym. I try to get better at because I do know it's somewhat of a lost art nowadays. A lot of guys don't like to shoot it, but I know that you kind of have the in between game. Um, being able to score at the basket and shoot the three, you kind of have to have that mid range pull up to keep guys honest, and that's something that I've definitely been harping on and working on in my workout so far.
Moving on to the next level of scoring, talking about your finishing a little bit. This is something I noticed you like to go to. Talk to me about that little jab step. What are you trying to do when you're, you got somebody on an island like that, and you're in your 3-point stance?
Right. Well, I like to use the jab a lot because I can shoot. So of course they have to be honest with that. And then I kind of like to get to like this little double jab kind of, and this I didn't use it. I end up jab crossing, but I just knew if I can get them off balance a little bit and I can go the other way, I knew I had an open lane that way and I could finish at the basket.
Now, take me through this possession. If you can get this one back, how would you approach this one?
Kind of just get down there and be more poised and patient with it. I mean, that's not a shot that we have to have at this moment of the game. I mean, just get down there, kind of probe and see what I can do with it. If not, kick it back out and set something back up. But just being more poised and patient, that's something that I've been working on. Just trying to be more poised and patient in that second level area.
If you are going to go to the hoop, don't fade away, right? Like dip
Right.
your shoulder in, right? Maybe create a little contact and get to the line. Talk to me about like your strength and conditioning work that you've been doing and you've developed over the course of your career.
Right. I of course I've definitely take that up a notch. I mean, that's something that I've really focused on over the past couple of years. Just trying to put on weight, put on muscle. Like every year I've been in college, I've put on 10 pounds. So every year, so it's like 10 to 15 pounds. So I mean, it's showing off in terms of my game and stuff like that. But just trying to keep building on that. I think that's going to be a focal part of my game moving forward. Just trying to play at the next level.
I want to show off a couple of your passes because I don't think everybody knows that you got this stuff to your game.
Oh,
that's
nasty.
That's pretty nasty. Mm-hmm. That's nasty. So take me through this because live, that pass is hard enough, but doing it with a live dribble, take me through this. What are you seeing with the defense?
Right. So just to walk you through before the play, we kind of ran this play like the past 3 possessions down, and we got something out of it, whether that was me scoring or me doing a pocket pass. So, and Notre Dame, just watching their film, they kind of pull over a lot on the weak side, and they play that one guard. So I was kind of reading that backside man, and when I came off the screen, both guys came over, and I knew the corner, that big wouldn't know what to choose. So I threw it to the corner, and he was wide open, being able to make that open shot.
Yeah. And no, Miles, something you talked about before, right? The patience, right? The pace and all that stuff. This possession, it kind of shows that, as you mentioned, right? You kind of reject the screen there. You have eyes up. You're reading what the defense is giving you, and then you hit that perfect timing, perfect placement right in the shooter's pocket, right? That stuff's not easy. That's actually, respect to you and the work that you're doing, because that type of patience and reading and that type of high level processing, I think, speaks to the type of work and the film that you're watching as well.
Now that was a beautiful pass. It was a great read. You remember this play?
I do remember this play.
Take me through this one, because this is a little Tyrese Halliburton right here.
Right. I knew I had the big Ian Shefflin on me, and Clemson was kind of the same. They like to pack the paint a little bit because they have those 2 bigs down there. And I knew as soon as I got down there, they were going to go for any fake or any shot fake. And I knew my teammate Kawasi was going to be right there in the corner because before I drove, I looked over there and I seen him in the corner. So if he just stayed there, I knew it would have been an open shot, or I would have had to lay it if they didn't jump.
Yeah, that's wicked. A little wraparound. That's tough, man. That's tough. Now, sometimes creative passers, you get a little loose, a little sloppy. Take me through this one. What would you do different if you can get this one back?
Like we talked about, just staying more patient, more poised. Just coming off a screen, I kind of made the pass right as soon as I came off the screen. So just maybe dribble it 1 or 2 more dribbles and try to see what's out there. If not, just hit the pocket pass because Burton, he's good at reading the backside of defense, getting steals. Like I think he's one of the league leaders in the ACC of steals this year. So just being more patient and more poised with it. Because I mean, as soon as I came on the screen, he's already flowing down. That could have been an easy pocket pass or an easy hook pass right back to the man who passed it to me. So.
Right.
So I want to now switch things up, go on the defensive side of the ball for a little bit. You're 6'6", long. You know your wingspan?
I think it's 6'10" or 6'11".
Yeah, it looks good length. You got a big time scorer here on an island. What's he like to do?
He likes to get downhill to his right hand. So I knew if I kind of shade him to his left, he doesn't really like watching the synergy. I can see which way he likes to go most of the time. So he really doesn't want to get to his left like that. He's a heavy right hand guy. So just kind of trying to shade him to his left. And anytime he wants to shoot a tween step back pull up, I mean, we're living with those. So like that's how I thought about that.
Yeah, he makes that clap it up, tell him to do it
You live
again,
with it,
right?
yeah.
For sure.
And at the next level, you're going to be putting a lot of ball screens, right? It's a heavy ball screen league. And I like this. They're in semi-transition, playing fast. Hunter Salas, great pick and roll player. Take me through this possession, what you're trying to do after you get hit.
Right. Just the Hunter Salas assignment. I mean, he likes to get to his mid range, like to get in the little second level paint area, shoot his little pull ups. So I know he's going to be going through a lot of ball screens, and I know he's going to get hit sometimes. So just being able to pursue, just like rear view contest, and being able to just make sure he sees hands, so nothing looked easy at the basket, and that was just the whole thing the whole night.
Yeah, Miles, if you can speak a little bit to some of the defensive principles that the coaching staff pushed on you guys all day, all year, whether it's in ball screens or just in ISO.
Right, just pursuing. I mean, just looking at the ball screen, like you're gonna get hit in ball screens. Just what I'm saying, because bigs are huge now, so it's hard to fight over sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
just making sure you keep pursuing and letting guys not get easy looks at the basket.
Now, sometimes I think you can get a little jumpy. So Kyle Filipowski gets you once and then gets you twice. So take me through this one and what you might do differently if you can get it back.
Right, and that's a big thing that me and the coaching staff talked about, specifically my guy Nate Babcock. Just efficient movement. Just being efficient with your moving as far as your steps, your jumping and stuff like that on defense. So just making your steps maybe a little choppy or might not jumping around, being too antsy, stuff like that. Just being efficient with your movement. I think that could have saved an open three or could have saved a one more pass.
Yeah, because I mean, he misses the shot, but that's a 40% plus 3-point shooter.
Right.
So there's only so many times they're going to miss that, and then
Exactly.
Even if it doesn't turn into a shot, maybe he's attacking and now they're playing 5-on-4, but the effort's there, right? Like you're making the hard effort, and again, like that's getting guys to play hard is harder than teaching choppy feet. So yeah, little sloppy, but you can't fault the effort and on that run out. And this last clip that we have, I think it shows kind of the effort that you put on the ball. I mean, good job closing off the drive, staying attached, right? Getting over and then getting out, getting a good contest. So if we were, maybe NBA executives and you're sitting in a room with them next month, how would you sell us on investing in Miles Kelly as a prospect?
Right. I just think the versatility is a huge aspect, like we talked about. Being able to play off other guys, I think that's huge too. Because I mean, as we know in the league, I mean, guys have their 1 or 2 guys who they want everybody to score the rock for them or make plays for them. So being able to play off other guys, being able to defend other guys, being able to defend multiple positions, I think just being versatile in that aspect. Being able to play in the pick and roll if needed, being able to initiate the offense if needed. I think all of that just goes into a play where I can be valuable for a team.
Miles, I just had one question. And this is something that I think about a lot, something I ask myself all the time, right? Whether it's this work that I do or my family or whatever, I always ask myself, like, what's my why? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I do what I do? What gets me up in the morning? What makes me pursue what I do? And with you, Miles, you're now preparing for this next step in your life. You're, looking towards the NBA, all this stuff. Why do you play basketball, man? Why is this important to you? Why do you want to take this next step in your life?
3 things I would say. Number one is God. I put God first in everything that I do, and I put my faith in the man above. The second thing is my pops. My dad passed away when I was 10, 11 years old, so that was just like my motivation, and he kind of put the basketball in my hands, and when he passed away, I just kind of ever since then I just wanted to do it for him and just get it done. And the third thing is just love for the game. I'm a huge basketball junkie. I watch basketball. Like I said, I love to watch film. Just even on my off day, even if it's not film on me, just love to watch film on other guys. Love to watch basketball on TV. Just dissect the game. So I would just say the love for the game for real, for sure.
Miles, thank you for coming and chopping it up with us, man, and taking time out of your schedule. Obviously, any of you guys that are preparing for the pre-draft process, you got crazy days, multiple workouts and crazy schedules. So thank you for fitting us in.
For sure. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.